All right, party people, you heard the music. You know what time it is. It's time for some bonus stages.
Woo!
I'm Jeff. I'm here with Lakan. Say hi, Lakan.
What up, y'all?
And we've got some quick ones for you. Just wanted to, do something nice and short here for everybody. And this is funny. Like the two games we're featuring here today are like a real wide gamut. So the one game that you have for me released fairly recently.
Yep.
And the game that I have for you is from 1985.
Yeah, and it's one of those weird ones where we discussed it a little bit, but surprised that I haven't beat it yet because I think when am I gonna pop that game back in? You know what I mean, kind of thing.
Right, exactly. Well, you're gonna do it for your show.
Yeah. Let's start off that one then.
Yeah, so just for anybody here who may not have heard the first one, you could always go back and listen to the first bonus stage. I'll have that linked in the description here. These are shorter games that basically are designed to take no more than an afternoon or two. For Lacan, it might take them a little longer just because of the nature of the game, but these games are shorter. That way we can reconvene faster. It's not going to take us 2 weeks to beat these games, and we'll get back together and we'll talk about them usually in the same week, right?
Yeah.
So the game that I'm giving Lacan technically can be beaten in like 45 minutes.
I'm sure I'm sure I'm gonna be closer to that 45. Absolutely.
Yeah,
'Cause
I'm sure. Right, of course. So you've probably heard me talk about this game quite a bit on here. If not, I'd be shocked because this is my top 3 favorite NES game, and it changes just based on the day that I talk about it between Super Mario Brothers 3 and Ice Hockey. And this game is Kung Fu for the NES. This is actually, and I never knew this. Okay, this is a port of an arcade game called Kung Fu Master.
Yes, I knew that part.
I didn't know that.
I've seen the arcade machine. They have one in one of the arcades. I forgot which one we went to, but I remember that's where I saw it first. Yeah,
Okay.
It might have been the one in Red Bank, or it might have been the one in Westfield. One of those two.
Okay, so I'm gonna have to get my hands on this and play through it a little bit as somebody who loves the Kung Fu game here. So this was a port of Kung Fu Master. Kung Fu Master was an arcade game released in 1984, and it's a side-scrolling beat-em-up game based kind of like on Game of Death and all those old Chinese, Hong Kong martial arts kinds of films, where basically you play as Thomas, who is the Kung Fu master. Of course, he's white and therefore, genetically superior based on like what these fucking game developers kind of figure out. Because of course, a white guy would be the Kung Fu master.
Yeah, of course, absolutely.
And then there's like a brown guy named Mr. X, and he's the bad guy, and he kidnaps your girlfriend Sylvia. And of course, he's also a Kung Fu master. So nobody's Asian in this fucking game.
Maybe like the nameless chumps you're smacking around, basically.
It must be. I would sure hope so, because at least somebody in the game called Kung Fu Master has to be Asian. And then there's like the big black guy that you fight. There's no Asian people in this game. This is cultural appropriation, the game, but I still love it. It is one of my absolute favorites. Basically, you take Thomas and you go level by level, floor by floor of this giant building full of enemies and other martial arts masters and small people and pots with dragons in it, and you have to go save Sylvia. It's really hard, and it makes sense now that it is so hard because it's an arcade game.
Yeah, there is meant to be a money pit,
so that makes a lot of sense. And but man, I love this game. I played this game so much as a kid. I didn't see the end of this game till I was an adult, but that's okay. I still loved this game as a kid, and that opening jingle. Yeah,
the music rules.
Still gets me every single time I hear it. And I figured, you know what, you needed a short game. This is technically a short game. I mean, there's only 4 levels maybe,
something like that. Yeah, and I remember like I think
5 floors. Yeah.
Something, and like you were saying, like you didn't beat this game until you were like an adult. Yeah, because again, it was insanely difficult, and if you didn't know what you were doing, yeah, you're kind of screwed.
Right.
It's like playing those old Sega like Disney games. I didn't beat any of those until I was like 20 at least.
Yep, because those games are designed for kids, but they're not designed for kids. But whatever.
Yeah.
Apparently, like I know that I love this game a lot in like a vacuum, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't think of this as a game that could have impacted beat 'em ups and side-scrolling games as a whole but apparently it did. Like apparently this game had like a ton of impact on beat 'em ups, on fighting games. I mean, you look at the sort of the tree for this game, and there are seeds in the Street Fighter series. There's Dragon Ball seeds in this game apparently. Toriyama like was influenced by this game apparently,
I mean, wouldn't
which
doubt
is
it.
absolutely insane to me. The guys that did King of Fighters and Fatal Fury, even like Nintendo, because they ported the game, there were some influences on future Nintendo products from this game. This is like a legitimate game, and honestly it fills me with warm joy, right, that this game that I've loved on my own, like I said, in a vacuum for so long, is such a pivotal sort of moment in gaming history, and it directly influenced other things that I really like too, which are also beat 'em ups, Street Fighter, Dragon Ball, Nintendo games, and things like that.
You can definitely tell like anyone who's played it in like even like a 90s arcade, like yeah, this definitely has like it's probably one of the earlier side scrolling beat 'em up games, I would assume so, because this
It
one
is
is so.
apparently it's the first.
Oh, there we go. So yeah, it's hyper basic. But that being said, it does. I remember like even playing this when I was like maybe 16 or 17. You know, like those random times when you're like a teenager and you have a little bit of free time, especially over the summer. He's like, you find your NES, your SNES, you kind of go through your old library. I
Oh
remember
yeah.
even then, like, half my life ago, thinking, man, this still holds up, like, control wise. Still haven't beaten it because I'm bad.
Yes.
But, like, I remember just feeling like, thinking, like, the game is so simple, but it's so tight still. So, I'm looking forward to getting back to this one and hopefully, finally beating this one.
For sure. All right, what do you got for me?
Okay, so for the game that I got you for this one is bear with me on the title in this one. It is yeah, you want those games, right? So here you go. Now let's see you clear them.
I have wanted to play this forever. This is awesome.
So it's also known as those games, for shortening the name's sake. So it is a parody puzzle video game developed by Monkey Craft Company Limited and published by D3 Publisher. That is the same developer as the ones who made the Klonoa series, and they also handled the port or the remakes, I think, for the Katamari Damacy games, or at least some of them anyway. So they're. I thought it was like a no name company just because of the design aesthetic, but no, they're like it's Monkey Craft. I was like, oh, sick. So this game took about 8 months to develop by a group of 15 to 20 people. Was released on July 19, 2023 for Windows and Nintendo Switch. So this game is a parody of like mobile game advertisements. Like, have you ever seen those? Like, I don't even know what the name of it's called. It's like
Ebony, where it's like pull the pin, and you get the treasure.
You get mad because the ad is so bad, right? It's like the player, the quote unquote player of the ad is so bad that they never get any of the answers right. Or you see those the beaker sorting by color game kind of thing. There's 5 games in here, and they made like a good chunk of levels for each one of them. Like I remember like one of them has like 100 levels in it. And the point of this one is like you can kind of just pick it up, put it down, and kind of just play through it and play the games you actually see on those, fucking shitty mobile game advertisements.
Right, those deceptive mobile game ads where it's like the fish going to eat like the smaller fish, and then it tries to eat the big fish, but the number's not big enough, so the big fish eats it.
Exactly.
But you actually go play the game, and it's just a shitty aquarium simulator.
Yeah, or like the Ebony is like it's like a kind of like a base builder essentially. You know what I mean? Kind of like it's kind of like
it's like not Age of Empires. It's like
Clash of Clans kind of
Clash
almost.
of Clans.
Yeah, it's just like people, and it's funny because like there's still bots under those comments saying, no, the game's totally like this. You know what I mean? And it's like when people try to call them out on like the advertisement kind of thing. So
and then Community Notes shows up and it's like, no, this is all fake advertising.
Yes.
But there's nothing we can do about it because there's no standards for mobile games.
Exactly. And I will say the Community Notes is like funny when I see some of those advertisements now because people just light those motherfuckers
absolutely destroy them. So they are fun. So fed up with these bullshit ads.
I will say, as much as like Twitter has been like a shithole for the last couple months now, I do like Community Notes are fucking funny.
Hell yeah.
So I remember taking a screen. I remember seeing a tweet of a screenshot of this game in Japanese like months ago. Like again, it came out in July of this year, so it's still relatively new. But I remember seeing it in like maybe like May or so, and I was like, again, it's in Japanese, and I couldn't use the translator that I had because it was a screenshot. I couldn't translate the entire thing. but I was curious to see what the game was about, because it brought me to a Japanese website. And then when it released, I saw a couple of the Hololive, the VTuber streamers that I watch. They were playing it, and I was like, "Oh, it's out now! Oh, fuck yeah, I'm absolutely getting this!" And immediately bought it, and it's perfect for my Steam Deck. And yeah, it's a fun game that I really really enjoy. Especially for just like, it'd be perfect if this came out on mobile. You know what I mean? Because it would just be like
seriously
a giant slap in the face of all those fucking fake video game companies, kind of thing. But this is just like, this is great. It's good. It's fine on the Steam Deck. It's exactly what I needed for, like, 5-10 minute glow pickups, and put downs kind of thing. So I think this would be like really fun for you. Just finally get your hands on it, right? Finally get your hands on like an actual game from those fake advertisement for the shitty mobile games.
Yeah, so there was a mobile game company that made the pin pulling game.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. I remember.
But that was it. But like the one that I really like for whatever reason, just because it's like a brainless kind of thing, is like the number game where you have to like you fight number 7 is like 10, and then you get to 17, and then you fight 13.
That's one of my favorite games too, because it's one of those things I'm like, man, I see this a lot, but I wish there was an actual game for it. And that's they actually have that game in here, and that's probably
the other one. The other one I really like. I don't. Oh no, here it is. Is like the walking on the track.
Oh yeah, when your character kind of walks and you kind of build using
the auto walker or whatever.
Yeah.
I do also really like those because I don't know, man. I just like it. Just seems like not relaxing, but kind of relaxing.
Yeah, and what's a cool thing about this is that it is all together in one convenient package, and there's like no ads. It's kind of funny because they actually have like you'll see it in the game, but like there's some nods to like other like mobile game like kind of like standards. Essentially, you'll see it in the game. So that's all I got basically. So I'm looking forward to seeing what you think about this game.
All right, folks, give us a few days. We'll be right back, and we'll let you know how we felt about Kung Fu. And yeah, you want those games, right? So here you go now. Let's see you clear them.
You could have just shortened that.
Probably.
See you in a bit.
All right, party people, it's been a little time. Lakan, what did you think about my beloved Kung Fu?
I'm so glad I finally got to beat this game, because like mentioned before, like I've gotten to like the 3rd level, had no idea how to beat the magician, I guess is the name of that character. Or the 4th level, I guess. Yeah, the 4th level boss. And like it took me like 9 tries to beat this game, because the first couple were like me shaking off the dust, and I'm like, okay, I remember this one, know the timing window and when my hitboxes are available, right? And then I got to the final boss, and I was like, oh, this guy's a scrub. He's so easy to beat. And yeah, it just felt good. It's like, oh, cool, like this is it. I finally beat this game. And then, well, I guess the first thought was, oh, that's it. The game's done. Oh, this is a very short game. I could have sworn this game was longer. You know what I mean? Like when I finally beat it, and I was like, and then I saw the dragon, the little dragon icon on the HUD.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that was how many times you beat the game. Because like I've never beaten it, so I was
right.
I thought it was like, oh, I must have like a special ability that I have no use of or something. So there we go. It popped off, and I was like, oh, I got a 1 on here, and then I continued to run. I beat the game one more time afterwards, not in the same session, but yeah, it was a good short quick play. And then remember we were talking about Thomas, right, is the name of the main character and all this other stuff in the first half of the episode. So didn't realize that I think we saw in the first episode that there was a sequel to the Jackie Chan Sammo Hung movie Wheels on Meals.
Right.
His name was Thomas in that movie. So there's a little bit of egg on our face, just assuming it was just a random white character. But yeah, so like the character, I guess, in this game would be Thomas for Jackie Chan's character, right? And then Sylvia is the main character, I guess, in the Wheels on Meals movie. So
right.
It's like actually a direct sequel to the movie, which is kind of crazy.
That is pretty crazy.
Yeah.
And yeah, I had no idea. So oh well.
Yeah, egg on our face, whatever.
It's not the first time somebody on a podcast is going to be loud wrong.
Yeah, and we commit to it anyways. Whatever. That's just who we are. I think you guys have listened to us at this point long enough. You guys know that we are confidently wrong multiple times.
Correct.
I forgot that punches give you more points.
Yes, punches are 200 because they're riskier, I guess, right?
Yeah, they're shorter range. It's I was looking at the wiki and it says they do more damage, but like the thing is, the only time you ever see the damage, I guess, is when you're fighting the bosses.
Correct.
Kind of like
because everything else dies in a hit.
Yeah, a hit or two, and then it's funny, like I when I look at it now and I look at the final boss, and every boss is essentially like a mini fighting game, basically. You know, like you knock them back when you hit them, or some of them anyway, right? And you got to worry about spacing and timing. And I was like, oh, it's like playing footsies again. This is kind of one thing that I noticed now that because back then I didn't really play fighting games, and on the NES it was very limited in terms of like a traditional fighting game, right?
Mm-hmm,
so
definitely,
I noticed it as an playing it now. I was like, oh, sweet, it plays it almost exactly like a very, very rudimentary fighting game, basically.
Well, good. I'm glad you liked it.
Yeah, it was a good time. Again, like now 33-year-old man finally beats this Kung Fu Master game.
Finally beats children.
Yeah, from release date.
What was it? 1980? 80, what do we say? 84, 87?
Yeah, that was the arcade game. I don't have the game the Nintendo release on here right now. Let me see. Let me scroll down real quick.
Mm-hmm.
A year later, 1985. But yeah, it was cool. And also, Koji Kondo worked on the Famicom port. He was the
cool.
Yeah, so legend of Nintendo. Koji Kondo.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, we talked about that during the first half, where it was like how many people worked on this game or were directly influenced by this game is staggering. Yeah, and I thought that was pretty cool.
All the names you think of, like you think of Nintendo, they basically were in here essentially. Shigeru Miyamoto, Koji Kondo. Again, obviously Thomas is very closely modeled to Jackie Chan, like with the big hair at the time still.
Gaming legend Jackie Chan.
My favorite fighting game character.
He has a fighting game.
He does. Yeah, I do remember seeing that forever ago as well too. So, but yeah, it was cool. And again, the music is just. The music holds up so well in this one. Like, even if it's only really during the beginning and end of the levels, I think, right? Yeah, that's
like those jingles, those and then like the ending is like
just little sound bites that just kind of click perfectly for it. It's just,
the sound design in that game is great.
Yeah, the kicks and the punches have like that whooshing. Kind of like Hong Kong, martial arts movie sound. And it's like, it's perfect for it. And he makes like a Bruce Lee-esque kind of sound to him. You know what I mean? Like you hear the vocalization kind of thing there. So it's good. I never looked this up, I guess. But did this ever have a sequel?
I don't think so.
Let's see here.
Unfortunately, I don't think so.
I'm on the wiki, so let's see here.
I think everything just like we talked about before. I think games just kind of sprouted from it. But none of those games turned out to be a sequel.
Let's see. Here. So, Dragon Wong is an action game made by Sega, released in '85 and inspired by Kung Fu Master. So there goes. So there's one, I guess, that released the same year that was also inspired by the the original arcade game. And then there was a game called Trojan in 1986, which is essentially an evolved gameplay of Kung Fu Master. So. And that one actually, there was a NES port included a 1-on-1 fighting mode, a precursor to Nishiyama's work on Street Fighter.
Yeah,
there you go. So I guess technically they would have been the one of the earliest Kung Fu fighting games. Then that's sick. Again, nice and short. Like I just didn't realize how short it actually was. I didn't like seeing the little stages, and it felt like such a slog when you're a kid. You know what I mean? Just like because it is like it's meant to be an arcade game. It's meant to eat your quarters basically. So I also realized like once you hit 50,000 points. You get an extra life. So
the best feeling on the planet.
I was like, oh my god, I didn't realize how much I needed that because I thought I was getting through but I would lose a life on like the big guy, the second boss character, right?
Yeah.
And I'm just like, am I bad at video games? I just had the moment of just like I might just not be gamer. I might have been lying to myself this entire time. This just unlocked a lot of memories for me that I ended up playing this one. Oh, I ended up actually playing this on the I have a Hyperkin Retron 2 is what I played it on, by the way. I didn't I have my NES in like one of my storage bins, but I
Right.
couldn't find the cable like for it to output to the TV. So, but I have the emulator console. You know what I mean. So I'm still plugging the cartridge in. Thank you again for letting me borrow the cartridge because I have no idea where the hell mine is. It just, again just feels good to hear that chunk of like plugging in the cartridge too. It's a good time. It was a good like I don't know, like maybe like an hour session before I beat the game, and I was like, oh, this is fun.
Yeah, perfect little bite-sized kind of game, perfect like arcade experience. It was good.
Yeah. But yes, that's basically all I got on my end. And so for your game, I had you play those games. That's just a shortened version of it for for the game overall. So,
Yes.
what do you think?
It's fun to play these like addicting kinds of cancerous games that are, anytime you download them, they're always full of ads and other predatory stuff. So it's nice to just be able to play them and not have to worry about all that stuff.
And actually get the game you asked for.
Right, exactly. So, for the uninitiated, the game, yeah, you want those games. It's a parody of all those mobile game ads, and they have 5 games included in here. So the first that I completely cleared is called Cash Run. So it's like that auto walker game where you have to collect cash and you level up based on your you based on how much cash you have. You're either poor, you're rich, you're a celebrity, and things like that, and you get scores based on how much cash you pick up. And along the way there are other sorts of modifiers. You can either try to like commit a robbery, and there's a 50-50 shot of you getting a ton of cash or losing all your cash. You can go to school and get a modest cash increase. You can develop a vaccine and get a lot of money, or if you accidentally go through a virus tab, you lose all your money. So things like that. Like I said, if you've seen mobile games and if you've seen these ads, you've seen this game in the past. This is kind of the one that I've always wanted to play because it seems like the most like chill. Unfortunately, this is one of the ones that there are only 25 levels to,
Yes.
so I kinda cleared it a little rather quickly. The other game that has 25 levels is called Parking Lot. It's basically like the parking lot puzzle where you have to move the cars out of the parking lot and pull them down and up and left and right,
Yeah.
and as the game progresses, you get different, shapes of cars that make it more challenging, right, to solve the puzzle. I thought that one was pretty fun. I didn't clear that one, but I thought that one was pretty fun.
Yeah.
Then you get the number tower, where it's like every other mobile game that you see where you start with like 14 and then you see the zombie with 12 and the zombie with 19. So the ad always goes to the zombie with the higher number and they get killed, right? And it's like your IQ is 0, stupid idiot.
Yeah. Yeah.
That one is also fun. So that one got to me. I was just kind of like playing and playing and playing, and then I realized it was like an hour since I started, and I was like, "Oh crap!"
Yeah, that's the one I tend to like lose time on because obviously I have to do quick math, right?
Right?
It's just basic arithmetic, but like they give you was it 1 to 3 stars on every one of these games, right?
Yeah.
It just depends on how fast you clear them, and that's one of those where I specifically I try to beat it as fast as I can, but then just brain math. It's like sometimes I just brain fart in the middle of it, and I'm like,
Correct.
and there's only one answer I believe to every one of these, so you have to get it right. And then the worst is when like you get like you clear it once but too slow, and you have to try to retrace your steps on the way on the next time, but just to go faster, and you try to like you know what I mean, to try to predict
Exactly.
when you can go to the next one kind of thing. But yeah, this one is one I lose a lot of time on. Is really fun. And the cash run,
Right.
I didn't realize for the cash run in regards to that one, I didn't even realize I got because I've only gotten like 6-7 levels in. I really fall into the 2 other games we haven't mentioned yet. But for the cash run, I didn't realize there was like a gambling thing because I only knew that you use the money to like avoid spike traps and traffic cones and like the walls. I didn't realize there was
Right.
more stuff to it afterwards because again I've barely played that one for the most part.
Right.
But yeah, so now good to know that I have some stuff to look out for later on, I guess, in difficulty wise for the
Mhm.
later levels for that one.
For sure.
And so for the last
So
2 here that we haven't gotten to yet, then.
yeah. So the next one up is Color Lab. This is where you have to like pour the different colored liquid into the different vials and make sure that all the colors match. I feel like this game has been around forever, though. I don't think this is just like like a
Yeah.
recent predatory mobile game ad. I remember playing this on like mini clip and stuff.
Yeah, like on Miniclip or like Newgrounds, right? I feel like there was
Hmm.
some sort of older version of this one out there. But yeah, like, but obviously they use them for the ads because it's always like you see the the ad just like mixing the colors, like okay, almost clearing one vial and then screwing it up again, and then
Right. It's like
you
I know how to do that. I'm gonna get this.
yeah, and then you realize again, I'm assuming it's just a ad just full, it's a game full of ads and a thousand puzzles in it, and you're just like, well, you're just scraping my phone for data at that point. I
Yeah,
feel
exactly.
like.
Exactly. Or it's like one of those like landscapes farming simulator type
Yeah, and
games.
you only play the game like once every, I don't know, day, basically.
Right.
Yeah.
If that, and it's just on there collecting your data, stealing your credit card
Yeah,
information and all that.
exactly. And then the last one, which has the most levels in this game so far. Again, I don't know if this game is going to have expansions or DLC down the line, or like there's going to give out free more games or whatever. Pinball. This is like the one that I've always wanted to play like a full game of, and
Yeah.
you go ahead and explain this one too.
Yeah, it's the pin pull game that you see on every single mobile game ad. You have to pull the pins in the right order to make sure that your stick guy doesn't get killed by a goblin or a wolf or fall into spikes or get burned by lava, drown in water, etc.
And get the gold.
And yeah, and of course get the gold or just survive, right?
Yeah, yeah. This is they have the most levels on this one. I think this is the one that probably people. I would assume the reason why they made 100 is because this is probably the one that's most in demand, right? That's my assumption
Right,
anyway.
correct. Yeah, so this is definitely the one I think that people are really looking for, and I've seen more than all of these others. I've seen more versions of this game come out
Mhm.
for whatever reason. I guess just because it's a simple game that you can swipe, on a mobile device, and
Yeah.
it's easy and fun to play.
Yeah, like I feel like this would be a perfect game as well, since since you do a bit of like remote playing into your PC sometimes, right? Especially when you're watching your son.
Hmm.
Did you remote into this one, or you play this one on the computer?
Nope, I just played it all on the computer. It's just easier, and it was the only time I had time is when nobody's home, so I might as well just play it on the computer.
Yeah, that's fair.
Um, so
Yeah, this is it's just, again, I'm just glad that they made it. You know what I mean? Like
mhm.
that these games actually exist. And it's funny because they reference gotcha, right? Like
Yes,
you could just like what is it, you use the in-game currency essentially, right? Just to
right.
buy more, like, what was it, badges, like title plates and stuff like that.
Titles, yeah, the plates and things like that.
Yeah, just basic gotcha element, but like, again, you spend no money, you've already paid for the full game, and
Correct.
it's just there, kind of like, again, to be like a parody and kind of poke fun of the idea of the gotcha elements of a lot of these, like, mobile phone games.
Yeah, I think I only have two like notes. Like I have a gripe and I have like a wish for the future, right?
Okay.
So the only gripe is that this game would be incredible as a mobile port.
Oh my, yeah, I've thought that as soon as I got the game, because that's okay. So I have it on Steam Deck and I have it on my PC,
Right.
right? Steam Deck is perfect, like, obviously, because I have a touchscreen, so I can do it that way too. But then it was like, man, if they could just sell this for like $5 on this, on like the app on the iOS store, or on the Android, what is it, on the
Google
Google
Play.
Play. Yeah, I almost said Android Marketplace. That's dating myself a little bit.
No shit. Jeez.
But if they put this out and actually, made it $5, you know what I mean? Like, you could have all the games that you see in all those like crappy predatory ads for games. Like, you could actually just
Yes.
straight up have them.
Correct. So that was kind of like my first thing. Like the using the mouse is fun, but especially when it's like timed based, sometimes it gets a little frustrating when you're trying to click things and
Yeah,
the
yeah.
UI isn't super duper responsive as far as trying to make things time sensitive, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's good enough if you're like trying to do it in a certain number of moves, let's say in the pin pull game
Yeah, yeah.
or things like that. But when time is of the essence, it does get a little frustrating when it's like, well, I would have had 3 stars if the game could catch up to me, right?
Yeah, yeah. I think that's one of the benefits of having it on the Steam Deck, because
Yeah.
I can just use the touchscreen, and it does feel a little bit more responsive versus because the Steam Deck can also use the controllers. So I would use the left thumbstick to select the pin or
Mm,
select the vial, right? So it's like instead of just like tapping on which vial to tap to which one to pour it into or whatever, I have to like pick the vial, tap left a couple times to go to the right one, to the proper one or whatever, right? Same with the pin pull, I have
correct.
to like cycle around. If I choose the wrong one, I have to like loop around again, kind of thing. But yeah,
Yeah.
so it would be nice to have this as like a proper touchscreen integrated phone game, or just maybe just tighten up a little bit more, or make on the Steam Deck touchscreen, or make the mouse kind of maybe make it like a zone. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
if you're
exactly.
close, it could just select it, because there's only so many things really to interact with on the screen anyway. So just make it more of like a general zone you have to be in to interact with that particular item.
Hmm.
And
That was kind of like my only main gameplay gripe.
yeah.
The other game I want is I want the one where you build like your army and you have to go left or right into the
Oh yeah,
zones, and
yeah,
it's
yeah,
like
yeah.
times two or divided by four and things like that.
Yeah,
Or
it's essentially like a scroller version of Cash Run, essentially, right? Like,
right, it's like a
but
combat
with a
version of
gun.
Cash
Yeah,
Run.
yeah, yeah. Oh my, yeah, you're right. That would be really.
Yeah,
I
Cash Run
would
with
like to
gun.
have that. Yeah, exactly. Everything
Right,
is better with gun.
right.
Yeah, that
That's
would be
kind of
really
the
good.
only other one that I would be like, oh, I need that in this game.
I would hope that comes out in like a later, if they're doing anything. I haven't seen anything that they're doing anything more to it, but it'd be really nice to see if they do
It
like
would.
a couple extra games added onto this thing. And again, for like what was the price on this thing again? Let me
It's
open
like
up the
10
Steam real
bucks,
quick.
15 bucks, if that.
Some of that, right? Like I remember. Now let's see
I don't
those
think this is 15
games.
bucks. I think it's like 10
10,
bucks.
10 bucks, yeah. So like, and again, I made that purchase like as soon as I saw the game come out. I was like, yeah, I'm buying this, because this is exactly what I've been waiting for this entire time. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's good to pick up, put down. Again, kind of perfect for the Steam Deck. I would hope that they sell this on mobile devices. This is also out on Switch, so that probably also makes sense, actually, now that I think about it.
Yeah.
So, but
Yeah,
yeah, so there you go.
definitely. Definitely considering grabbing this for Switch if it ever gets down to like $5, $3,
Yeah, on like a sale
whatever.
or something. Just even if you play the game and you kind of clear everything or whatever. Yeah, it's good. What is it? 25, 25, 50, 50, and 100. So
250
250.
levels.
That's not bad. Like it's honestly like a pretty decent chunk of like gameplay. And again, you're not supposed to like you can binge it if you want to, or just pick up, do a couple, and then kind of go about your day, right?
Hmm.
This is just a really fun pick up, put down game. I think I think that was the whole point, and I'm glad that at least some company made it, basically.
And they better be careful because I did see the Army Run game on Switch for $1.
Oh,
But I was
okay.
like, I'm holding out for this
Yeah,
game
yeah.
because this game is, at least I know it's like they took time, they worked on this game, they put effort into it. I don't want to turn my back on them, but at the same time, kind of want to play that Army Runner game.
Yeah, some other small companies are getting around to making parodies or actual just full versions of those ad games we see. So
Hmm.
it'd be nice if these guys already would just get on it. You know what I mean? Hopefully, maybe I'll get on Japanese Twitter and just see if they've made any posts recently.
Yeah, no kidding. I know they are busy with, they were tasked with doing the Katamari ports, like you mentioned.
Yeah.
So I don't know if they have another Katamari port in the works,
Mm.
but that would be cool, number one. And then number two, if they're not, hopefully they're fleshing this out a little further, because I would love to see more levels. I'd love to see more modes, more anything, basically.
Yeah, that'd be really nice to see more from them.
Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah, it was a good time. Again, it's also really easy for us to do a lot of these shorter games, but it's also just like a nice hit of nostalgia for me when you throw me like an older game like
Right.
this. And more often than not, we have these games because we do have like a pretty sizable collection, for both of us here. So
Right. And I also really love cancerous mobile games. I think they're just fun and kind of relaxing to play, but at the same time, I don't want to deal with the bombardment of ads and all this other stuff. So
yeah, when
I think it was good.
you play DBZ, what is it? DBZ Dokkan?
Oh yeah. No, like luckily enough, the mobile games that I play, like Dokkan, Duel
Are
Links,
actual games.
correct. So I don't have to get bombarded with mobile game ads. But if I do want to, if I want to play any of these like Army Runners or the Cash Run games, I'm screwed because I'm just gonna get bombarded with ads every 10 seconds.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Cool. So I mean, I think that's all we got on my end. How about you?
Yeah, I think that's about it. I mean, like we said, short little games that we can kind of get together and talk about for a short amount of time and move on to the next game.
Yeah, it was a good time. Thanks for trying my recommendation. Thanks for
Likewise.
forcing me to play Kung Fu.
Yeah, man.
But yeah, so that's really it. That's really it for this episode, listeners. We hope you guys enjoyed this one. Again, nice and short and sweet. That's the whole point of the bonus stage episodes. It's been awesome since we did one of these, right? It was like almost like a year at this point. So
Yeah,
it was nice to have another one of these in the in the running order, basically. So
for sure.
if you guys liked what you heard here, leave us a like, leave us a rating on whatever audio platform you guys are listening to us on. And we really appreciate that, guys. Share us with a friend. And we'll see you guys in the next episode. Take care.
See you then.
It is chilly out today.
It is.
I'm liking it though. Like I'm wearing, got my comfy pants on, my comfy pajamas.